Hey, what's up? Welcome back, everyone, to another Warzone 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what, for many, is the last hope for Warzone 2. Many people have left Warzone. A lot of people are just barely holding on to see if they're going to get their stuff together. Otherwise, they're gone. And the same can be said for me. I will not hesitate, if change does not come soon, to absolutely pull chocks, get out, and pursue a different game from a development community that actually respects what the player base wants. But fortunately, in a recent developer call, we actually got some new information about something that we have never even heard alluded to in Warzone. Okay, this is something that I never thought I would hear come out of a developer's mouth, but it's actually really promising for how this game is going to play, how it's going to evolve, and what the future of Warzone is, both at the highest level and for the average player, getting back to gameplay that we enjoy. This took place over on the Pulse Check podcast. It's Repulse's podcast. It's me, Repulse, J-God, our weekly host, and we have a guest. The guest today was Aiden, and we're going to be talking about competitive Warzone and even Esports, an official Warzone league. Combine that with the conversation we had earlier in the week about how they're going to be bringing back fluid movement. It really seems like we may be turning the wheels on Warzone 2 and hopefully saving this game. Because when you got Fortnite Creative 2, you've got Counter-Strike dropping. Apex is doing a pretty dang good job themselves. I love Warzone, but brother, they are pushing us out the door. And so hang around for this conversation. We have some really special insights, some exclusive information that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, but I'm actually really excited. And it's not just huffing the copium. I really genuinely pretty excited for things to come based off the conversation and the things we talk about in today's video. So make sure to hang around. If you want to check the Pulse Check podcast, that'll be linked in the description. If you want to catch me live, make sure to join me over on Twitch. That'll be linked in the pinned comment. But without further ado, enjoy the rest of today's video. Peace.
So, they said, let's talk about ranked real quick, right? Let's talk about ranked real quick and everything that's coming. They said, and I quote, Warzone 2 ranked info coming very soon. Let's talk about this. I feel like this is a big thing to discuss. And then once we finish talking about it, I'll get into the last part, which is what I'm excited to see Isaac and Aiden, your guys' response to this. But let's talk about ranked. What do they need to make ranked good? Because ranked, in my opinion, can be very good. But based off, I don't know if Aiden, Isaac, you guys agree, but based off what we just played today, the tournament, for those y'all, anybody casually watching this, we quite literally an hour ago just got done playing a tournament against the best players in the world, all in one lobby. And when you're playing against players of that caliber, there is definitely some things that can be abused, and that's how we banned a lot of things. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But boys, out to me, ranked, what's y'all's general thoughts, and then we'll dive deeper. J-God, what's your thoughts, man?
I personally don't think they'll ban anything, but yeah, it would benefit the mode if they did. I just don't think they will.
I think Warzone.
Were you in the last podcast?
Who?
Well, I know you mentioned stuff, but still, we don't have any details of what they'll actually do to make it competitive. But even besides all of that, if they don't have a handle on cheaters, it's an issue.
Yeah.
100%. I think Warzone's just super casual, and like I agree with you. I just don't think they're gonna really ban anything, or like they're not gonna try to take anything that's just OP out. They're just gonna keep it so people that aren't as good maybe can get a little bit higher rank, feel a little bit better about themselves type thing. Trying to think on the tourney today. Yeah, like, dude, so like if bomb drones are in, clusters are in, it's just gonna, I don't know, it's not gonna feel like a ranked experience. It's gonna feel like a sweatier pub, but just with all the broken stuff in it. So I don't know. And I hope the rank system's good, because like I'm
smirking.
Isaac knows something. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, he knows something. I hope the rank system's actually good as well. I'd say the multiplayer one is like pretty good. I think like if you're a really good player and you lose to someone that's like not as good, like say you're a top 250 squad and you lose to a bunch of solo Crimsons, you don't really lose as much SR as I think you should. And I think that just makes it come down to like a grind fest. Like all the people 100%. That are like top, like Scummin, for example, he's literally been doing like 24-hour streams, just like it shouldn't come down to that. Like it should come down to skill. It should come down to time play a little bit, but like mainly skill. So that's my concern, because Fortnite's like that. It's like I played Fortnite. Have you guys played Fortnite Arena at all?
Yeah.
It's like not competitive. I don't know. It's just like straight how much you play. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever has the most points
Yeah.
is just strictly based off who plays the most, which I think that is the biggest killer to all rank plays. It
I
shouldn't
think
be a
all rank
grind.
does that though, for the most part. No, like even Apex, they got their top 500 or whatever, and it's like about who grinds the most too.
is it?
I feel like what would be the counter to that than just taking way more like SR?
You have to take way more
Yeah.
points away.
Yeah,
Like
Overwatch.
huge penalty. And Apex has some good ones where you do well. I don't know about the current Overwatch because that seems like it's kind of hidden a little bit because your rank, it's like you can't see the next rank until you've played 7 matches or win 7 matches or something, right?
So I was more speaking at the very highest, right? When you hit top 500 in Overwatch, the way it would work is like the amount of SR that you would gain for winning one match would be lost. Like, so let's say I won 3 matches and then I lost a match. I would like lose all of the SR that I gained during like 2 or 3 of those matches. Your losses meant more than your wins. But then they also had an SR decay mechanic where basically it's like if you didn't play for a week, you had to get like 4 or 5 matches in during a week, your SR would decay a certain amount every single day. So you're still encouraging players to play. You know, you can't just like sit at a high rank and camp at it. So there's still that grinder aspect of it, but it is a punishment, man, right? If you're, like Aiden mentioned, if you're losing in a 4-stack in ranked, you should be punished hard for your SR, for your losses. Instead of just like, oh, well, I lost 30 SR. Okay, I'm going to gain 30 SR on my next one. And then you just grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind and grind.
Keep going. Yeah. Okay.
This is another thing I'm actually curious about that my chat is talking about. They're saying in Valorant at the top ranks you have to solo queue. Is that a thing? Like, I don't think
I've never heard that before.
I feel like that would suck. In my opinion, just me personally, if I had to solo queue, that would be. Or maybe you can't.
That'd be a grind.
Yeah, and then you're calming through procs chat and people are here. Well,
Yeah.
I guess you can adjust it if your team versus procs, but yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess it's not
hope that-
comparable. It's like I feel like Valorant's more of like, you know, it's a 5v5, like super competitive game. I think like comparing it to Apex is probably the ideal thing. I feel like Apex is probably our best first person shooter BR ranked mode right now. So hopefully it's something similar
When
to
you
that.
do get to the high ranks in Apex, you do lose a lot of points. Like you could lose 60 points. And even if you got max kills with a win, you'd maybe get 150. But it's difficult to do in those lobbies. You're not going to just win a battle royale every match, you know?
I hate that they cap kill points in Apex too. I think that's so lame. You could.
I do.
Yeah.
I do agree.
So you guys think you should like going into this? I mean, okay, you know what? We totally skipped over Isaac, the man who has all the info.
Yeah.
Isaac, what? Before we get into it, Isaac, what can you say that you know that won't get you in trouble?
So all I'll say is I mentioned something about a ban list happening in our previous podcast, and I have been very firmly told to not talk any further about it. And so I will not comment further on the issue.
Oh, wait, what's the issue? What's the issue real quick?
He can't. Well,
So
I would say that. Yeah, go ahead.
Right, I'm trying to tiptoe around issues, right? And I'm not gonna divulge anything else. I was so down bad about the future of this game and how many people were leaving, and the people were more pessimistic than ever. And so I teased into some information that I was privy to give hope that, like, hey, I'm actually optimistic for rank. We're doing it right.
Yeah.
I am going to respect that relationship, and I'm not going to comment on it any further. All I'm going to say is I'm still very optimistic for rank.
Okay, cool. What do we need? Like, what do we do? Like, right? Like, what does rank need to make it even the slightest bit competitive? Right? Like, what do you guys think? Because I obviously, is there a realistic version of a bubble shield that can possibly be implemented?
So outside of ban lists, right? Are you talking about like hypothetical ban lists, right? So outside of that, are you talking like core gameplay?
Yeah. Is there anything that could be added, or is there any type of thing that could be
The only
implemented?
thing that would help in the thing that you're talking about is you'd have to up the TTK, because the only reason you need something like that is because you can get caught out and you can get killed in team shot in Apex pretty quickly. The one-on-one gunfights don't kill too fast, but team shooting, you get deleted. And the way the game is centralized around team play, you get deleted when they want to delete you. So I think the only thing you can do is up the TTK, whether they go with iron trials or titanium trials, so health or plates are worth more. That's a totally different dynamic. But the health or the plates need to have more value where you're not getting instantly deleted. You get a chance to react and reposition, and or you can't have a bubble shield.
I think one thing is like, I don't want the cars to be overpowered, but I feel like the cars right now, they're like, you just can't use them efficiently for rotating. Like when we're playing, my squad was like, we're not, just don't even use a car. Don't even get in a car.
Yeah.
Because not only does it give away your position, like they're super slow. They don't turn fast. Like with the Bertha, they're not really like the Berthas. The Berthas were kind of OP though. I don't want anything like that. But
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, just the normal cars and trucks, they're just like not all that good. I think the armored vehicles, the only one that we really were like, let's hop in and use this to rotate. And there's no balloon, so like it literally seems like the only thing we have right now is just smokes and just run through them,
That's literally the only form of like rotation right now. And like, and then keeping in mind, all right, even if you get a UAV, 90% of people have ghost. How are we going to counter that? Like, so there's a lot of little intricate different things, in my opinion, that should be addressed, right? And I don't know how we fix it. You think it's possible for them to implement some type of equipment just for like, not even just for rank, but with ranked in mind? Do you think they do something like that? Or like, is it even possible to make a bubble shield? Like, or is that not realistic?
That's not realistic.
I feel like the PDS was like the closest type thing that they would do. Like that was like,
that was only in the gas, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it didn't actually. You got a barricade, right? That's about it.
That's pretty much it.
Like
Yeah,
the only thing they
there's-
could do with that is if they made it like more OD, where you threw down a barricade and it went do 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 do.
and like, yeah, that spread out a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
Okay,
we're
like
playing Fortnite now.
A more
Yeah,
OP,
yeah. They throw down the shields.
a more OP, like, I don't know. Any thoughts, boys, on that? Anything else on top of your head that they could do to address rotations?
I mean,
So you're not just getting held out.
There has to be a point, right? Like, you should be punished, right? If you're behind on rotations. Like,
Yeah.
if you're getting held, you're getting held, and that's part of the game. It's a little bit tougher to break rotations when there's not one-shot headshots, because you lose that ability of, this guy's on a head glitch. Boom, I get that headshot. Now all of a sudden a 3v3 turns into a 1v3 because that guy's going down for the self-revive. I like the longer TTK. I don't like the idea of titanium trials, right? Because then you still only have 100 base health. And if they're winning this war of attrition against your plates, now all of a sudden you only have 100 health. Whereas in iron trials, you always, at a very minimum, once your health regened, you had 250 base health. And it was the extra plates that, would give you the advantage for having that better, survivability from how you've been playing the game. Maybe there could be something like limiting magazine capacities. Just strictly hypothetically throwing it out there, right? If I have a team that has 100 round Seiken, 100 round Seiken, 100 round Seiken, and they're holding me, I'm period. They're always going to have time to reload. There's no amount of movement finesse smoking that I could do to where, like, oh god, they're reloading, now we go, right? Everyone's just like for 30 seconds. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
You know what I don't like either? I personally, I do not like the spam live pinging through the smokes. I feel like it completely defeats the purpose. Like, we'll try to rotate in a smoke and the whole team's just spamming like their up pad or whatever their ping button is, and you're done.
Yep.
Agreed. I think ping should
it shouldn't
break.
be good because it shouldn't.
When line of sight breaks, even with people inside of buildings, you ping someone in a doorway, right? And then you can see where they ran up the stairs for like 3 seconds. I think when you break line of sight, the ping should break. Yo, can we talk about the most important thing? Maybe not the most important thing, right? Because I think like you said, TTK is probably the most important. Something we desperately need for ranked. Reconnect.
Ooh, I wonder how they'll do
We need
that.
a reconnect feature, bro. I understand dev errors are really tough to solve, and most of the time it's an issue on someone's personal computer with their configuration. And you're still devering on Xbox and PlayStation, so it's not all our fault or the Nvidia's or AMD's or whatever's fault. But like, brother, make it to where if you die and you disconnect, you gotta buy them back for $4,000 at the buy. But like, all of your SR shouldn't be chalked, and your teammates' SR shouldn't be chalked just because you dev errored or your server disconnected or something like that.
Is there a way to do that? Like, in gaming is do other games do that? Is that a way? Is
Yeah.
there a way?
Apex does it, right?
Yeah.
Apex does it.
Let's hope that they add like a minimum level, like to play ranked, so that way you keep cheaters. I think a lot of the things is if they don't find a way to handle the cheaters, one, and then two, if they don't find a way to find somewhat of a skill gap, definitely ranked isn't going to succeed. But I definitely think if they are putting a lot into it, that this can be incredible for the scene. But now I'm going to use this to go into the next topic. All right, so if there was anything that I wanted to talk about, if there was anything that I was like, yo, this is the most important thing, it's this what I'm about to say right now. And I got confirmation just to make sure that we're allowed to talk about this. Drum roll. All right, it says there, future of esports and Warzone 2. Info coming soon.
Already got a jersey.
So, okay, we have no idea what that means, right? We have that's all that was, we no idea what that entails, right? And so I kind of right they're you know Activision's quote unquote idea of esports and Warzone. What do y'all think their version of esports and Warzone means? Does that just mean, oh, ranked with more tournaments, or ranked with more tournaments, or is ranked considered their esport? Like what is that? What does that look like?
Obviously, it's all hypothetical, but I would say that if they mimic what Apex has done, where they have the fixed teams, people get to compete, and then they get placement, essentially points into these bigger tournaments where they're LAN based, and then they have like some pretty cool features with their spectator, and I don't know if you've seen that, but that thing is ridiculous. Literally, when the actual main tournaments are on, you can click on the Apex map, and you can just click on whoever you want to watch, and literally it'll just go to their POV.
Really?
That's so sick.
It's freaking nuts. It's nuts.
So look, like I'm gonna be honest. For those getting too excited, I'm gonna settle you down real quick, right? For you know, that could like even just mean, oh, is WotC's a Warzone considered esports? Right? Like, is that there? Like, it could just mean, hey, more info on WotC's Warzone coming soon. Like, we don't know, right? Like, but automatically, right, my brain's like, oh, Warzone League, right? I'm just like, obviously, my brain can just go to imagine Warzone lands, like, you know, a league where we have LAN tournaments, what Apex is doing, how good they're doing, right? Like, you know, Call of Duty has a lot of the casual population right now, right? Let's be honest, they have a lot. Like, what they're missing is that ride or die things that take a skill gap. You look at Apex doesn't really have a lot of casuals, I would say. It's a lot of people who are just like grind. That game is a competitive game, right? So it's like maybe Call of Duty is trying to find like the best of both. But I mean, what do you guys think? I really hope it's not just like oh, we're gonna announce World Series of Warzone and that's their esport. I'm praying that ranked is just, you know, I'm praying
Imagine.
I'm praying that ranked is just like they're just a little salt, and they have something big planned. So
yeah, no, I definitely, I think like ranked should be kind of the entrance into it, see how it goes, and then go from there. You know, something similar to ALGS, or I think that's what it's called. But yeah, Apex is doing it exactly how I imagine and hope Warzone would.
Yeah.
It'll even almost legitimize it, because there would more than likely be LAN events. There would be LAN events.
Yeah.
So we would find out for sure if Aiden's cheating or not. No, I'm just I'm just messing. But you know, like, it would help legitimize players and streamers too.
Yeah. So think about it like this, man. Like, it's like, you know, CDL started off insanely, like, or like, right, multiplayer was insane. They made a pro league, popped off. Look at it now. Look at the numbers now. You guys think that that's what they mean? Or is it just like, yo, their esports are more tournaments, or the esports are ranked is now their esports, or is WotC's a Warzone their esports? Like, I don't know.
They've never used the word esports in association with anything Warzone. Right? It's the whole reason we don't have any Warzone pros. They're all just competitors and creators, right? Like you can compete in tournaments, but you're not necessarily a pro. I think I could be more convinced and more excited when, if competitive launches, we see a drastic, and I'm not, it's kind of like the whole plating thing, right? We talked about this last podcast when it's like, okay, we're going to make it to where when you plate, like you're going to notice, you're not going to be sprinting while plating, but you're going to notice a difference. Like you're going to be moving a little bit faster. And then all of a sudden that update, there was something changed between when we flip and you have a full tack sprint when you are plating. Like when competitive drops, do not tiptoe into it. Make it, hey, this is going to be competitive. This is where like men are made without all that misogyny, but like this is, you know, not esports, but like this is what we're headed towards. But if we half it, I think everyone's gonna be like, yeah, esport with this game, you die in a half a second. Where's the skill in this game? What, an LMG? Like, we gotta. People are laughing at this game, man. Yeah, like
that's why I think they really do. Like you guys mentioned earlier, like just getting a call, you know, whatever, 7 people, 8 people, you know, get a ranked mode, a ban list, or whatever it is, you know, fine tune stuff the way it needs to be when we go into this, because no one's gonna want to sit there and wait half a year down the road for them to finally get where they want to be. They want rank to come out, you know, maybe there's a couple things at the start and they fix it, you know, within, you know, a couple weeks or whatever it is, but no one wants to sit there and wait half a year to have a good or a decent ranked mode, you know.
Asking Isaac, Aiden, are y'all joining that? What are y'all doing? What's, you know?
I'm definitely getting passion on the map. I'm definitely like I feel like it gives you that grind factor, man. Like it makes you want to get better and stuff. Like there's really no incentive to get better at the game right now. Like there's nothing to work for, and I think, you know, just that opportunity being there will, not even me, for a ton of people, just make people want to get better at the game and play more, man.
I'm really curious to see how they would format it too, right? Like obviously they like being, you know, around their 12 CDL teams. And does that mean, are they going to allow like other esports orgs involved? Like we got a lot of really talented dudes on like TD and Omit. Like, do you have to buy a slot in? Are these invitationals? But now we're saying esports. So does invitational really matter? It should be a matter of who's the best, not who has the most viewers. And, you know, I think could be really, really cool to, like, let's say, I have no idea if any of the CDL pros would have any interest in it, but like maybe every CDL team has like 2 or 3 teams, and one of the teams is a trio of their like 3 CDL pro or 4 CDL pros or subs or coaches or whatever. And then you have like 2 teams that are, you know, Warzone creators that they sign. So you got like a team of 9 going into a tournament times 12. 9 times 12 is 108, right? And boom, that's pretty much a perfect amount for like a 100, you know, a battle royale. And then all of a sudden you have all of these players going into the map together. And at the very end, your CDL team is ranked and stacked 1 through 12. And now it becomes like all part of like the team NYSL, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to try to associate with how much they're going to associate it with the CDL.
But I can also see it being like, we have open qualifiers. Hey, let's say if it's trios, how many teams is that? 3 divided by 150? 50 teams? Yeah. 50 teams. The top 50 teams, there's 3 weekends of qualifiers. Only the top 50 teams advance. But you have to be represented or whatever it may be. Like, I can see that happening. Open qualifiers and doing it like that, where it's a huge league where anybody can do it, because then that's where they pull everybody in. Because, you know, if this does become a thing, clip this. Anybody in the chat right now, anybody from any one of our chats can potentially compete against, if they're good enough, against the best in the world. And then that becomes new names. Then that means more people playing the game. That means more people being committed. Even if they hate the game, it doesn't matter. They're gonna play it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the update... Sorry, go ahead. I'll say my final piece and then I'm done. I think the update as a whole was just kind of like... It was nice to see some nice quality of life changes, but I was still pretty cynical, right? But based off of your conversations, Hector, and your conversations, J God, and the sentiment in the meeting, I am significantly more optimistic about the future of Warzone. If you have seen a directional shift, a philosophy shift, the way they're talking about things, right? And so that gives me a lot of hope. I don't know how they can communicate that to the public, because I think that would be a huge sentiment change. from what we've seen from the first 6 months of Warzone. If you're seeing that, I'm very hopeful. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that insight in from Hector, Aiden, and JGod. If you did, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and let me know down below in the comments what you think esports in Warzone could look like. What competitive rules would you like to have inside of Warzone Ranked? Let me know down in the comments down below. Peace.